Tuli Washington DC ne Kyagulanyi Center mu Robert Bobi Wine President wano mu ggwanga la America mu NUP Diaspora Convention 2023. Kyagulanyi Center mu Robert asituse okwogerako eri bannayuganda ab'omu diaspora mu ggwanga la America abavudde ebule n'ebweya ne beetaba mu NUP Diaspora Convention 2023 n'agamba nti ebiri e Uganda amawulire Mwai Museveni ne gavumenti bye batambuza bagenda bagamba bannayuganda n'ensi yonna nti oyo Kyagulanyi ekyamutute mu America kusabiriza era kuleeta Uganda mize mibi ng'aleeta ensimbi z'abazungu. Mbu yagenze buzungu bamuwe ssente era ensimbi z'akozesa okwagala okujja gavumenti ya Museveni mu ntebe mbu abazungu baziwa Kyagulanyi Center mu Robert Bobi Wine okujja okuzoganya gavumenti ya Museveni. Kati nno asinzidde mu Diaspora Conference eya 2020 Convention eya 2023 wano Washington DC n'ategeeza ensi yonna n'abazungu abali mu lukuŋŋaana luno nti nze ensimbi ze nkozesa nga Kyagulanyi kuba sikyakola emirimu gyange gyasibwa nali mukubi wa ndongo ne baŋŋaana okuddamu okuba endongo e Uganda lwakuba nagamba abazungu nti bakomye okuwa Mwai Museveni ensimbi stop funding Museveni. Mwai Museveni n'alinnya eggere mu mirimu gyange egy'endongo era sikyayingiza 10. Ensimbi ezimbeezaawo ezikola emirimu gyange n'ezikola emirimu gy'ekibiina National Unity Platform People Power bannadiaspora mmwe bannayuganda mmwe muzimpa era mmwe muziwa ekibiina ensimbi zonna zetukozesa mu kukola emirimu gyaffe tuzijja mu bannayuganda mmwe mwennyini abali e Uganda oli yatwala omutwalo gwe n'aguleeta ku kitebe oli n'akwata mu nsawo n'aggyayo ebitaano bye n'abeeta ku kitebe n'abali mu diaspora ne muwayo kye muwadde n'osobola okutambuza struggle. Naye olwekyo ebigenda bibungeesebwa Mwai Museveni mbu nina abazungu abampa ensimbi abantaddemu ensimbi okutabangukira eggwanga Uganda ndi wano nga nsinzira mu Washington DC NUP Diaspora Convention 2023 nti abazungu bange abampa ensimbi be bannayuganda abali mu diaspora nabo bannayuganda abali e Uganda be bazungu bakyeruppe abantekamu omudidi abanfinansinga kubanga baagala okulaba ku Uganda empya baagala okulaba ku Uganda eteredde. Ate nno si musanyufu waliwo ebigambo ebadde bigenda mu maaso mu ggwanga lya Uganda ennaku zino ensangi zino nga bannayuganda beerabidde omulamu omukulu gwe baliko ogw'okuggyako gavumenti ya Mwai Museveni. Asinzidde wano Washington DC mu lukuŋŋaana lwa convention ya National Unity Platform 2023 n'ataakaka nkusaba onneegatteko n'obwombeefu bw'ekika ekyawaggulu nkutwale wali e Washington DC mu ggwanga la America Kyagulanyi Center mu Robert Bobi Wine waali mu convention eno nga yogerako eri bannayuganda abazungu abaddugavu aba black abeeru abampi abawanvu abampi biduduli ebinene ebitono bonna ng'ayogerako eri bo ku bigambo ebyenjawulo ebigenda mu maaso naawe osobole okutambulira wamu n'okumanya ki ekiri eyo mu convention. Kyagulanyi agamba kyo olukuŋŋaana lugenda lutya negattaako tusuuleyo basi ntandise.
People power, our power. When the struggle is over, we shall wear the victor's crown. We shall wear the victor's crown. We shall wear the victor's crown. When the struggle is over, we shall wear the victor's crown. In the new Uganda. Olutalo nga luwedde tuliyambale ngule tuliyambale ngule tuliyambale ngule olutalo nga luwedde tuliyambale ngule tulivimba mu Uganda empya. All right. Kino kyekiseera kye tulina okulwana mu biseera eby'omaaso tufune emirimu. Aise kino kyekiseera kye tulina okulwana mu biseera eby'omaaso tufune emirimu. People power. Our power. Our power. People power. People power. Our power. Our power. People power. NUP. Everywhere. Everywhere. NUP. America. NUP. Boston. NUP. California. NUP. Minnesota. NUP. Everywhere. NUP. Everyone. NUP. Ha ha. Ha ha. Ha ha. Ha ha. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Please take your seats. Thank you very much, Comrade Yoweri.
Yoweri. Yoweri, yes.
I like to call you in the African way, Yoweri.
Yoweri.
I sympathize with you, but you're not alone, my brother. I was also named after Robert Mugabe.
Dictator.
So now you can imagine what kind of duty our generation has to undo the messes and the mistakes of our forefathers when they had hope in people. Ladies and gentlemen, comrades gathered here today and those watching us from far, dear friends of Uganda, ladies and gentlemen, I salute you and I welcome you to this convention. I want in a special way to thank the US chapter under the able leadership of Dr. Kauma and the entire organizing committee for putting this event together. I also want to thank those that have generously to push a narrative that we are being sponsored by foreigners, we are being sponsored by whites, we are being sponsored by Bazungu. I want to say it again today for clarity, that this convention and indeed all our activities in the diaspora and many times at home are funded by our comrades, our brothers and sisters, fellow Ugandans in the diaspora. No wonder Museveni fears you very, very much. Now, friends, every time I see Ugandans in the diaspora coming together, for whatever reason, I am greatly encouraged. I'm encouraged because I know that for many years, we are coming together under the auspices of the UNA fraternity. The UNA initiative used to be a very productive and uniting platform for Ugandans until it was captured by the Museveni regime. Today, the regime in Uganda funds UNA to the tune of 100,000 US dollars. And as a result, yes, every year. And as a result, UNA was compromised into becoming a regime agent and was diverted from its noble mission and objective. How unfortunate. The first time I saw the diaspora coming out massively was when I was arrested and detained by the military in Arua in 2018. When I came out of detention, I saw pictures and videos of Ugandans on the streets of Chicago and Boston, on the streets of DC and Minnesota, in Toronto and New York, in Accra and Nairobi, all over Europe and many other parts of the world. They were all united with one calling and one demand: free Bobi Wine. And indeed, I was freed. Friends in the diaspora, here with us today and those watching us, I want you to know that I owe my life to you. I'm alive today and able to fight on still because you put your feet down and you saved my life. But most importantly, the lesson that I got from all this was that the same passion and the same energy that was used to free me can actually be used to free our entire country. And that is why we don't stop counting on you. We don't stop looking at you as a great resource in this, our struggle against the Museveni regime of blood. I want to thank all of you in the diaspora community for realizing this just as well as I did. And indeed, for the last 4 to 5 years, you have done wonderful, wonderful work for the struggle both here and back at home. You have protested, you've knocked on doors, you've exposed Museveni's atrocities to the world. You have, most importantly, remained solid even in the face of intimidation. They intimidate you so much, threatening you that they will arrest you when you come back home. But you have remained solid. We salute you for that, ladies and gentlemen. This, I must remind you, that is one of the things that keep us going. The courage we get from you. While you say we inspire you, I want you to know, guys, you inspire us a great, great deal. Now, the progress that we have made so far is clear indication that if we continue doing what we're doing, in fact, if we double or even triple our efforts, be sure this guy is going down and going down sooner than we even thought. So, for avoidance of any doubt, ladies and gentlemen, the main purpose of this, our convention in particular, and indeed the purpose of our struggle, is to weaken, isolate, and finally destroy the Museveni dictatorship. That is our mission, no other mission. But I must also remind you that removing the dictator is not an end in itself. No, that will only be the beginning of our work. Our duty is remove the dictator, and after that we must go ahead and build a country that all of us will be proud to return back to, a Uganda that we can call home. We want to build a country with servant leaders, not boss leaders. A country where leaders are servants of the people and the people are the masters of the will. A country where power is in the hands of the people, not in the hands of those that have guns. It is possible. It has been done in many other parts of Africa. It can be done in Uganda, and it will be done in Uganda. We intend to have a country that provides equal opportunities to all citizens, regardless of their tribe, of their religion. We want a country where all of us are going to be equal before and under the law. We want a country, ladies and gentlemen, which will have a reliable and quality healthcare and education system. It is possible. We want a country, ladies and gentlemen, that will provide employment opportunities for our population so that thousands upon thousands of our young people don't have to travel to the Middle East and suffer humiliation and dehumanization. We can create employment opportunities, and we will. We want a country where creativity and innovation pays, where creatives like myself have a future. We want a country that makes sense. We want a country that lives in real time. We want a country that belongs to the 21st century, not the previous century where Museveni has made us stuck. Ladies and gentlemen, we want a new Uganda, because right now, even if Uganda is a member of the international community, Museveni has used that relationship not to improve the lives of the people of Uganda, no, but to entrench himself in power. He is turning Uganda into a North Korea day by day. He has turned Uganda's leadership into family rule. So we are here to ask the United States government to start building a relationship with the people of Uganda, not with the family of Museveni. We are asking that because that is what America has done for so many years. America has to stop it. Now, this explains the theme of our conference today. And indeed, this is going to be our continuous call to the United States government. We want them to change their policy and attitude towards the illegitimate and criminal regime in Uganda. So, ladies and gentlemen, while you clap your hands, while we interact, while we have our drinks later, and while we cruise on the boats, it is important that we keep reminding ourselves and each other about our mission, about why we come together. We're not here for fun. Of course, we want to have fun along the way. We're not going to be mourning because we're in the struggle. No, we're going to be celebrating along the way. But we must always remember why we came together. We must always remember why we are in this struggle. Let us think about the state of affairs back home. Let us think about our brothers and sisters that continue to be under illegal detention simply because of their political choice, which is not a crime. Let us keep them on our mind. Let us think about those who were abducted on gunpoint and they are still missing. The likes of Chibanama John Bosco, Damulira John, Kanata Muhammad, Moses Kawenja, Nalomoso Vincent, Hassani Mobiru, and many, many others. We don't know where they are. We don't know even whether they are still alive or dead. But we know who took them away. And we know that one day he will answer for that. Let us remember those who were murdered in cold blood. Comrades like Rita Nabukenya, comrades like Frank Senteza, Kawuma Yasin, Vincent Serungaya, Musa Waliendo, Hakim Sekamia, and many, many, many others. These ones paid the ultimate price while they were fighting for a better country. I want us to remember the hundreds who were massacred on the 19th and 18th of November 2020. We must always carry their mission forward. They paid the price, and we can only honor them and pay them back by carrying the mission forward and accomplishing it. I also want to remember the leaders and comrades who have left us in the recent past. This year alone, we have lost Councillor Anthony Wameri, who was the head of our legal team, and you all remember he's the one who was standing in the courts of law, including military courts, defending the political prisoners, our comrades that were put in prison. It's unfortunate that we lost him this year. We lost the head of our Eldoret wing, Muzei Biarugaba William, popularly known as Jajanop. We lost Comrade Tolit Simon Akecha, who was the head of our policy team. And we also lost our comrade called Alex Aringa, who was in our UK chapter. I want to request all of us to stand and observe a moment of silence for these, our comrades. May their souls rest in eternal peace, and may their sacrifice never go in vain, and may their mission be accomplished through us. Thank you very much. Friends, you in America, I want in a special way to thank you for receiving, accommodating, and taking care of our comrades, the Honorable Wameri and Jajanop when they were here for treatment, and also for helping in the repatriation of their bodies back home when they passed away. Thank you very much. God bless you. Now, I want us to be reminded that all is not well home, not only in Uganda, but on the entire continent of Africa. It is not well, friends. Because as we speak now, democracy in Africa is under serious attack. In the last few months alone, we have seen more than 6 coups in Western Africa and in the Sahel region. Coups in countries like Mali, in Chad, in Guinea, in Burkina Faso, in Niger, and even in our neighbor, Sudan. I mean, it's like we've gone back to the 70s and 80s. It is sad, isn't it? There has never been a time in Africa when dictators, military dictators and despots, there's never been a time when they are so emboldened, a time when they are so united to do wrong. This time is a turning point, and we must think very, very hard. We have even seen known intellectuals confidently and eloquently, explaining that, that democracy is not an African thing. The intellectuals that we respected while growing up, we've seen them support autocracy. We have seen tyrants and their propagandists pulling out the Pan-African card to justify grabbing power from the people and resting it in the hands of gunmen. You have seen that. We have seen them parade themselves before international authoritarians to get guns so they can subjugate their people. You have seen them. We have seen young despots taking lessons from aging tyrants like Paul Biya of Cameroon and Yoweri Museveni of Uganda. You have seen them. We have also seen the hypocrisy and the double standards of African leaders and bloc organizations like the African Union and ECOWAS, who have condoned military coups in one country while condemning the same in another country. We have seen them. We have seen them do that, of course, on the strings of their neo-colonial masters, according to the interests that their masters have. We have even seen the East African community and the African Union turning a blind eye on long-serving dictators while they carry out institutional coups and rigging elections with impunity and massacring their own people, only to be congratulated by these so-called African leaders that are now condemning coups. Shame on them. So I want to call out on this platform the hypocrisy of General Museveni, who receives, among others, close to $1 billion from the United States government every year. But again, when he's called out about democracy and human rights, he turns to Russia and China, because for them, they don't have democracy conditions and human rights conditions. Shame on you, Museveni. But at the same time, while we call out Museveni, we cannot forget to call out the United States government and other Western governments which have continued to sponsor Museveni's terrorist regime in Uganda. I say it without fear of contradiction that America gives Museveni to the tune of $1 billion. This is the money that is using to terrorize people. Since I'm in America, I will not say shame, but I know the worlds are saying that. Yes, yes, because even by their own admission, he was not legitimately elected. Even by their own admission, then the question is, why are they sponsoring him? Why are they dealing with him as if they are dealing with a legitimate president? Don't they see me? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So I want to carry the voices of 45 million Ugandans and other Africans to the American government. And I want to tell the American government that we, the African people, we are asking America to support the African people and not, to support the people of Africa and not the gunmen of Africa. We are members of the international community. And we are united by values of democracy, respect for the rule of law and human rights. America is the biggest democracy in the world. What does that make America look like when the president of the US is posing shoulder to shoulder with Africa's nastiest tyrant, Yoweri Museveni? What does that mean? I hope that message has reached. Ladies and gentlemen, today I'm very glad to inform you that the bubble which General Museveni had built in the international community over the years at the cost of Uganda's taxpayers' money has been busted. Yes, it has been busted, and it has been busted with your help. He has for so long painted a democratic image of Uganda while massacring our people, but not anymore when you are here. Not anymore with the voices that you're raising. That bubble has been busted. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, because you have done it. I'm also glad to inform you, and especially in front of our lawyer, Bruce Afran, that we have taken General Museveni, his brutal son, and their enablers to the International Criminal Court. And indeed we hope, yes, it is our hope and prayer that the ICC will do what is necessary, fulfill its obligation, and cause them to answer for the pain that they've caused to Uganda and Ugandans, and even areas around Uganda, the Great Lakes region, for the last 37 years. We hope the ICC does the right thing. But again, even with all these efforts, ladies and gentlemen, and achievements, we must be reminded that the buck stops on us. We, the people of Uganda. It is our country, and therefore we must do the donkey work. The Baganda say, na nyini mufu yakwata awawonya. The loved one of the dead person is the one that mourns most and carries the most undesirable duties while burying that loved one. It is our country. Nobody else is going to, do it for us. No one is coming to save us. Somebody has said it and I want to reiterate it. Nobody is going to come and save us from Museveni. No. And we are not asking them to come and save us. We are only asking them to stop aiding and sponsoring our sponsorship. Yes, they should stop sponsoring terrorism in Uganda, state terrorism. When they stop that, the rest, babikwaseba na Uganda. So, ladies and gentlemen, we must take charge. We must take the charge in our own hands. We must, handle our own destiny. We must each do not only what we can, but we must do all that we can. Let us work together. Let each one of us push and pull from their end. Some of you are already doing great work in amplifying the voices of Ugandans. We were doing great work demonstrating and protesting in America here and all places where you can protest all over the world. As a person who interacts with people from the Washington administration, I can assure you that they hear your voices. Don't stop. Please don't stop. They can hear you. Mongerem. Yes. For those that are constantly knocking on the doors, those that are lobbying for change in policy regarding Uganda, and those that are calling for sanctions, please don't stop. You have seen that some of Museveni's lieutenants are being sanctioned, but yes, they're being sanctioned, the likes of Kaihura and others, the Abe Kandihos, they're being sanctioned and their properties are being confiscated. But our target is the devil and the son of the devil. That is where our main target is. These others, they are mvandirwa, they are additives. For those of you that are silently funding us, we appreciate, and please underline the word silently. For those of you who always silently call us with encouragement, words of encouragement and words of guidance, we appreciate. For those of you who receive our brothers and sisters that run away from Uganda for safety and you host them, you are heroes. God willing, it is only at the time of our victory that we shall be able to mention your individual names, because right now it is unsafe. But be sure that each contribution, no matter how small that you're doing, is playing a big part. Thank you very much. Please don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop. Keep going, because we know, and you should also know, that it is those contributions that are adding up together, and you are going to be the reason for the fall of the dictator called Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Finally, I know that you've been seeing the controversies in Uganda's opposition. Many of the senior opposition leaders that we used to look up to, that we used to admire, have been reportedly having silent deals with the regime. You have seen them. You saw how Norbert Mao sold DP to Museveni, and now you see what's going on in FDC. You remember that in 2016, Museveni bragged and he said by 2021, there will not be any opposition in Uganda. Now, I realize that probably by then, he had already closed a deal with the opposition that he knew. He did not know that God is going to bring these bad boys from the ghetto.
So good.
So, by the grace of God, an uncompromising generation was risen. And here we are. Museveni tatubanja, tatumanyi na fete tumumanyi, taina chatugamba. So today, I have bad news for General Museveni. Mzee, if you thought you bought the opposition, you were conned. Bakuguza mpeo. Eragenda bakudize sente. But also, we know that there are comrades who are in opposition during the day, and at night, they are hobnobbing with the regime. Yes, but comrades, I've always told you to put your trust not in any individual, not even in any particular political party, but in the truth. Put your trust in the truth, and the truth will set you and your nation free. There are even some that are within us who are doing everything possible to slow us down and to divert us. Yes, there are many who come up pretending to fight against Museveni, but when in real sense their target is not Museveni, but to fight those that are fighting against Museveni. But it's always a matter of time before they are exposed. It's always a matter of time before they are naked and you see what they really are. I mean, some of them are actually even in the diaspora. Yes. Some of us are in the diaspora, and among you, they are heavily funded to undermine our efforts to weaken the dictator. They pretend to fight against Museveni, but they hate those who fight against Museveni more than they hate Museveni. Some of them actually even pretend to love Bobi Wine, but they want to fight and destroy everybody that I work with. We know that their target is not those around me. We know their target is me, but they need to weaken my support system before they finally come for me. Watch them. Look them in the eye and tell them we see you, we know you, and we will not be fooled. You will see them by their actions. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to call for unity. It is only foolish prisoners that are going to fight in a prison cell. It is only foolish slaves that are going to fight amongst each other on a plantation. I want to call for unity among tribes, among religions, among communities. We are all prisoners, and we need to break free. Museveni has ruled us for 37 years by dividing us, by pitting us against each other. We need to be able to see through this, ladies and gentlemen. We need to be able to think about this. So after this conference, ladies and gentlemen, I want us to have a renewed commitment to agitation and to action and to working together and to putting differences aside and to looking at a Uganda that will make all of us proud. I will be returning to Uganda very soon. And I will be immediately setting off to continue working on the ground as we also push from this side. We shall be moving all over the country, even if the regime thinks us moving freely in our country is a crime. But we shall anyway move around the country. We shall be going to Rwenzori and Toro. We shall be going to Chigezi. We shall be going from Buganda to Ankole, from Lango to Acholi, from West Nile to Karamoja, from Bugisu to Teso, from Busoga to Bukedi, all over the country. Tuja, 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 mutulinde. We shall be recharging and re-energizing our people. We shall be reminding them that it's not over until it's over. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you once again for sparing your time and coming to join us. Let freedom reign. Let liberty live. Let us see Museveni fall and fall soon. Let us enjoy a new Uganda in our lifetime. Let us also be proud. Let us also one day have this convention in Uganda and celebrate. I want to remind you one day, and I will say, I told you. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. God bless you. God bless Uganda. God bless Africa. People power!
Power, power!
Our power!
People power!
People power!
Power, power!
Our power!
People power!
NUP!
Everywhere!
Everywhere!
NUP!
Ra!
Ra!
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bobi Wine. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, oh. To Uganda. You are sleepy, madam.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mr. President. If you can all be seated, please. So we have a few announcements to make before we leave this room. But before I make those announcements, I wanted to ask the young people, the youth who had a session today to come in front. All our young people. Yeah. So two things are going to happen. One, we're going to hear from our youth what they discuss and if they have any questions for the president. Two, we're going to take a few questions from the audience. Just a few questions from the audience. And three, I want to tell you about the upcoming events. One, we have a boat cruise. I know you have been sitting in meetings all day. We want you to relax, kick back, network, enjoy the rest of the day. If you don't have a ticket, please go to the registration desk. They have tickets. They have a few tickets remaining. The buses will leave the hotel at 5 p.m. So if you don't have your ticket yet, you want to join us on the cruise tonight, please go to the registration desk. They'll help you get one of those tickets. Another point I want to make is tomorrow we have a 2K run in the morning. And the purpose of this run is to raise funds to support families of torture and human rights violations in Uganda. It's a run we are doing for a good cause. We have some shirts we are selling, the kits that you can use to wear tomorrow during the run. Go to the registration desk and get one of those kits. If you can't wake up early enough to go to the run, still get a t-shirt. It's $50. Support the cause. Let's support the families and the victims of torture in Uganda. But when you're partying tonight, please save some energy for a run tomorrow morning. I'll bring my first aid kit just in case. But I'm sure all of you will make it to the finishing line. After the run, we have our annual general meeting. It will be at 1 p.m. Annual general meeting is when you ask the hard questions for our leaders. That's the platform for only NUP registered members. It will be at 1 p.m. Come with your membership card. and ask your leaders the tough questions about the future of our party, about the future of the struggle, and even the diaspora leader, you can hold Kauma accountable. You say, Kauma, you haven't done this, you should have done this. The stage is an annual general meeting to hold the leadership accountable and to offer ideas on how we can move the diaspora and the struggle forward. And then after that, we'll have the closing ceremony tomorrow, starting at 4:30 p.m. We're going to start very early because we have a lot to go through. With that said, I want to invite the folks who led the leaders tonight, our young people, Mr. Paul and Nasa Senyange, to give us a brief of what they discussed and maybe take some questions from these young people. Thank you very much, everyone.
People power.
This is Diaspora TV, your number one.
Thank you everybody for coming to DC and attending this convention here. It is very monumental, believe me in that. Today at the youth session, we discussed the importance of social media in the struggle. We discussed the importance of learning about your roots, and we discussed the importance of teaching our kids about Uganda and its current struggles. I'm going to say this to the bazadde in Uganda. Bannaaye abazadde, abaana bammwe mubaleete mu zi convention zino. Balina okuyiga kiki ekigenda maaso Uganda. Balina okuyiga ebibi Museveni byakoze. Balina okuyiga kiki kye tuli mu kuyitamu okununula ensi yaffe. Abaana mubayigirize Oluganda, mubayigirize culture yaabwe. Kubanga bwe babeera nga tebamanyi kiki, bwe babeera nga tebamanyi nsi yaabwe tebagenda gyagala. So mubayigirize who they truly are. Kale, with that, tugenda tandika ne first question. But here's your question, okay? Are you ready? She has this question here. Okay?
How can we help to defend Uganda?
Yes. President. President, all of them? We were going to go by one by here. Okay. Okay. All right. Wait. Can you repeat the question? She asked.
How can we help to defend Uganda?
Yes.
How can we help to defend Uganda?
Yours is this one.
All right. What does NUP have in mind to keep the youth engaged in the struggle?
What does NUP have in mind to keep the youth engaged in the struggle? Yes.
How can we ensure the people are knowledge about the world around them after they finish school?
Say your name. Say your name.
Sodra, by the way.
Okay.
People power.
Power.
Our power.
People power.
My name is Mapendo Claude, and
Yes,
my
Mapendo.
question is, what strategies can we implement to show the youth and the older generation who still supports Museveni that Museveni is detrimental for Uganda's progress?
All right. Some of the other questions we had are, how can we keep the youth knowledgeable about the issues in Uganda, especially those in the diaspora? The other question we had was, once Bobi Wine becomes president, what is his plan to improve Uganda? And the last one, this one was quite sad. Did the killings end in Uganda? Yes, I knew the answer, but the kids asked. Anyway, those were our questions. Thank you. And thank you all for coming. Yes.
Thank you very much. Very important questions. My beautiful daughter asked how she can help to defend Uganda. Mama, first of all, keep being as beautiful as you are. You'll be defending Uganda. Because your beauty alone is a representation of Uganda. When people here in America look at your beautiful face, tell them I am Ugandan. They will even think I'm also as beautiful as you are. So you're a good representation of Uganda. But also, learn about Uganda. Whenever you find a flag of Uganda, hold it with pride. Have pride in Uganda. When elders see that a young girl like you has pride in her country, they will get proud too. And because they're elders, they'll do more. So your duty is to inspire elders by loving your country, and they will also love it and do what elders do to defend it. Thank you, beautiful. What strategy do we have to redeem the youth that have already been hoodwinked by Museveni? I don't know if that was the question, if I got you well. Yeah, there's so many young people that are hoodwinked. Some is because of ignorance, others because of poverty. What is our strategy? First and foremost is to open their eyes. Even me, when I was still a youth, I was mentally sterile, for lack of a better word. I did not do what I had to do. It was until I was 35 that I got actively involved. So for the young people, let's open their eyes. Let us speak to them. Let us not get tired. Speak to them nicely. Convince them. Do not dismiss them. Do not distance yourself from them. Malcolm X told us that do not hate or dismiss somebody because they don't think the way you think. There was a time when you didn't know what you know now. So embrace them. Let us recruit them into thinking, into loving their country. When they love their country enough, when they know, when they have their eyes open, you will not need to tell them what to do. They will know what to do, and they will do so much, including laying down their lives for their country. And finally, somebody asked a question that is always asked by people 45 and 50 and going upwards. What does Bobi Wine plan to do to change Uganda? Briefly, I talked about it. I said that removing the dictator is not the end in itself. It's not the end of the mission. As a matter of fact, when we remove the dictator, our real duty will have started to transform our country. We have a very rich country. We have enormous natural wealth. We want to channel that natural wealth to benefit our people. We want to transform the healthcare system, you know, and it's not rocket science. This has been studied as, you know, African countries, others have transformed their healthcare system. For example, Rwanda has an amazing healthcare system. All this came from the Maputo Declaration, where they said at least these countries should put 17% of their budget in healthcare. Unfortunately, we don't do that in Uganda. We want to put enough money in the healthcare system so that women don't die while giving birth, so that we don't have to come or send our people to America or other countries for treatment. We want to change the education system. Today, we teach people, we educate job seekers, not job creators. We want to teach African children the same way Japanese and Chinese teach their children. Practical skilling. And in our education system, we have, as soon as I'm president, I'm going to make sure I influence to implement the AAA system, and that is academics, arts, and athletics, to ensure that we don't only train lawyers and doctors and all that. No, we want to have professional athletes and professional artists like myself. We want to change the governance system and have servant leaders, not boss leaders. We want to be like America, where you vote in a president and vote him out. We want to empower the institution like Honorable Senyon you talked about, so that the parliament is independent, the judiciary is independent, and the legislature is independent. I mean, the the executive is independent, and many others. But most importantly, when I am president, Uganda is going to be the coolest country in the world because it's going to have the coolest president. You know, when I'm president, wherever you'll be in the world, they'll switch on TV and say, look, look, you see that walk? That's the Ugandan president. That's the new Uganda that you're going to be having. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no, for the kids. Yeah, the kids, please go and you take a picture. And as he takes the picture, the president has accepted that we will take 4 questions from the audience on those very insightful and challenging particular subjects that you believe he should re-echo his voice and give clarity to those particular points. So by show of hands, number 1, ma'am, come. 2, this side I'm done. No, I said 4 questions. Sebo, young. No, this side I'm done. Mr. Mtiawa. I have choice to jump because I have few options. Come also. So we have 4 questions. I will begin with you.
This is Diaspora TV, your #1 global network.
Recently, the World Bank cancelled all loans to Uganda over the anti-LGBT law, and we saw you angry with the World Bank, and yet you have always in the past called for sanctions. What exactly, Your Excellency, did you mean with this? Thank you.
I did not know that it would be such a difficult question, but it is very cool we have a sharp president.
report of Secretary, because there's good pressure on the Speaker of Parliament, Anita Moore, to retable that report. But I haven't heard from the report. Do we have a leader of opposition in Parliament? Until when? Because last time, His Excellency, I talked about Mpuga's failure to so, His Excellency, last time I was asking about Mpuga's failure yes, I'm asking the question to start impeachment proceedings against the Speaker of Parliament, the Right Honorable Anita Mong. Because to me, the stealing of iron sheets, it is abuse of power, it is obstruction of justice, it is contempt of Parliament. If the leader of opposition cannot start impeachment proceedings against the Speaker of Parliament, when will he do that? Because this is a serious case. Mpuga failed to do that. The last question, His Excellency, is about human rights. Because this is very important. Human rights, they're like the mother of all rights, okay? So, His Excellency recently talked about the hypocrisy of institutions like the World Bank and the West. Guys, can I reform my question, please? Bear with me, guys. All right, I know. Okay. His Excellency.
Let me help you. People power. People power. Our power.
People power. Ladies and gentlemen, let's allow Taylor. People power. Our power. You know, somebody once said, I will defend even to the death your right to say something that I don't agree with. Let's allow him a minute to ask his question, yeah? So, allow him to ask his question.
Just ask the question.
Guys, freedom of speech does not protect speech you like. It protects speech you don't like. So, His Excellency, I'm happy to ask you these uncomfortable questions. It will go back to the anti-homosexuality law in our country, Uganda. But it's going to be different.
Thank you. People power. Our power. In the interest of time, the question has been asked. My brother, let them answer the other first question very politely. No. We shall handle that differently. So, use a second.
Okay. Okay. People power. Our power. His Excellency, I'm imploring us to preach equality. The anti-homosexuality law in Uganda, because I'm seeing MPs here. I see, yes. So I'm wondering, this goes to our MPs. Senyonyi is here, and other MPs are here. These MPs, they claim that they are fighting for liberty. But they voted for this draconian anti-homosexuality law. So, His Excellency, can you call out these MPs who voted for this bill, which is now a law that is discriminating our people? I'm speaking of this because I have friends who are gay, and they have suffered because of the law. But, okay, okay, let me respect everyone's time, and I say thank you so much. I'll ask it on Twitter.
People power, our power, NUP, everywhere. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, hello, we have the President and ministers. These questions, excuse me, There is nothing that is difficult in life. So, the questions will all be answered. And there was no limitation on the questions that were to be asked. So, I am very certain that those questions are going to be ably answered. I want to invite the President. My name is Alex Waiswa, your Deputy Spokesperson. Nubian Lee Ali Bukeni, please stand up also. He has been around and quiet. That is Nubian Lee.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, I thought you guys are my friends. Why do you ask me hard questions now? Thank you. I like it when you ask the hard questions. That's what leaders are for. And, you know, maybe the Honorable Senyen was trying to say, and I agree with him, that somebody said that I disagree with what you're saying, but I will defend with my life your right to say it. So, it was meant to be 4 questions, but they ended up being 30, over 40. About the lobbyists, what can we do? First and foremost, because our case is clear, let us first put it before the world. Let us first put it before the world, because when you're innocent, yes, you can be convicted when you're innocent, but not very easily. It's only somebody that is not very sure that very desperately need a lawyer. Our case has been going on, and the world picks our thoughts because we are on the side of the truth. However, it's important to have lobbyists. Why do I say so? General Museveni, for so many years, he is spending billions of taxpayers' money paying lobbyists. We didn't have any money. You know of a lobbyist organization here called Mercury that had been doing lobbying for General Museveni. Because we didn't have the money to hire them, we just needed to know who they are. I want to thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You protested, and I have news for you. Mercury dropped Museveni. They are no longer lobbying for him because we made it clear to them and to the world that they are lobbying for the killing, they are lobbying for the blood of innocent children, women, and men in Uganda. That shows us that stamping the truth down is the most important lobbying. However, we indeed need lobbyists. We need people to speak better English than us. We need more positioned people than us. That I will request. Some of the things we're not going to discuss here, because while we plan, the terrorist regime is also counter-planning. So I may not detail it here, but kindly reach out to our leader, Dr. Kauma, especially those of you that wish to be helpful in that line. Jamil, I'll answer your question last. About change of the constitution. Yes, General Museveni, we gave him a bloody nose in the 2021 election. That's why I think it's the most problematic election that he ever got. Unfortunately for him, he realized that he's way in there in his 80s, and I just got into my 40s, so I'm still warming up to take him anytime, any day. And he's scared of going back to the people. And yes, it's true. It was hinted, and these things begin as jokes. And then before you know, it is serious. That's what happened when they're changing the constitution, removing the age limit. He said, that's idle talk. And we ended up realizing where the idle talk comes from Museveni himself. So yes, Museveni desires to change the constitution so that it's only the MPs who can elect president. One MPs are very easy to compromise and bribe back in Uganda. And also, Museveni intends to impose his drunk son on the people of Uganda. And he knows nobody will vote his son. So, I mean, apart from, instead of having to face 45 million Ugandans, he would rather face 500 MPs, 300 of which are already in his pocket. So he wants to change the constitution, yes. How do we stop that? I have good news and bad news. Which one do you want first? You want the bad news first? The bad news is you cannot stop him from changing the constitution because he has the Parliament of Uganda in his pocket. So you want the good news now? The good news is that we have a better option, removing the man himself. And that is what we are dealing with now. Chetuliko, that's what we are doing. Taylor asked about the LOP issue. This problematic brother of mine, you know, is interesting. I like people that challenge me because I don't like yes men. No. I like people that challenge me because that's when we're going to have a fair balance. I understand that, yes, there's some areas of dissatisfaction with the leader of opposition, but it's also true that he has done some good work in Parliament. And so, I mean, each one of us here have our undertones. Yes. And dealing with the dictatorship, if they don't compromise you, they will make it appear like they've compromised you. And the late president of Uganda, Dr. Milton Obote, said, it is not what is true that matters, but what appears to be true. So I am the one that appointed the leader of opposition. So while he takes the blame, I want to share the blame as well. And I'll say, because it's Kyagulanyi. But I will not forget to be thankful for the good work that the Right Honorable Mathias Mpuuga has done for our party, has done for Uganda. I always want to thank people first and then blame them later. In fact, I want to thank them publicly and then blame them privately. Because as we speak now, Honorable Mpuuga is a representation of our strength and our weakness, of our good and our bad. So that, like I said, because Ani, Jamil. Yes, Jamil asked me about the LGBT issue. The World Bank suspended loans to Uganda recently. I was leading the charge demanding the international community to revise this relationship with Uganda, to slap sanctions to Uganda, and telling them that when Robert Mugabe did to the Zimbabweans what Museveni has done to Ugandans was sanctioned. When Gaddafi, your fellow Taylor from Liberia, Saddam, when they did what Museveni did, or even less, they were sanctioned. How come then that Museveni is not being sanctioned when he's having gross human rights violations in Uganda? We have cried for this for the longest time, even before I got into practical politics, but nothing has been changed. When they passed the anti-gay law in Uganda, boom, sanctions. It made me question, while we are happy that sanctions are being slapped on General Museveni, but we still ask, we still question the selective observation of human rights in Africa. And why am I saying this? In 2009, Museveni massacred people on the Kayunga protest when he blocked Kabaka from accessing his territory in Kayunga. Museveni massacred people. We didn't see one sanction. In 2014, Museveni passed the anti-gay bill, part 1. That was 2014. And then sanctions were slapped to Uganda. to the extent that Museveni, using his boys, Fox Odoi and Andrew Mwenda, repealed that law through court. For me and many Ugandans, we know that Museveni is using the anti-gay bill as a way, every time he sees he has lost popularity among our people who are largely religious, then he will pull out that to endear himself to the population. But not in good faith. He doesn't bring that in good faith, because if he was bringing it in good faith, I mean, we have so many problems that need to be legislated on in Uganda, and he ignores them. But he gave that importance. So he passed it in 2014, but it was repealed later and on his directive. In 2016, 2 years later, Museveni, using Ereru, massacred hundreds of people in Kasese. Women stripped naked, tied with hands. Children stripped naked, tied with hands, and men shot them point blank in their hundreds on the head. We called for sanctions, 0. Among those people that were killed in Kasese, we don't know whether some were gay or not, but they were human beings. Their rights were abused. Nothing happened. In 2020, in 2 days, November 19th and November 18th, more than 150 people were killed on camera. It was shown on BBC, on CNN. Many media houses reported on it. We called for sanctions because that was gross violation of human rights. We want to believe that the right to life is a fundamental human right. In fact, it is the first right. Nothing happened. We called for sanctions, apart from a few statements that were brought out. Nothing happened. You know? In 2021, January 14th, Museveni blatantly rigged the election. He blocked United States election observers. He blocked European election observers. He rigged the election. Even the United States Foreign Department issued a statement dismissing those elections, that they were not free and fair. The EU did the same. Guess what? Those were only statements, but only a few months later, billions were pouring in to help Museveni continue doing the same. We said, what values bring us together with the international community? Now in 2023, Museveni brought the anti-gay bill, part 2. And like I said, he uses it for politics. He uses it when he has nothing anymore to say. Because he has nothing to discredit me, he will either say I am a tribalist because he thinks it's a curse to be a Muganda. I don't agree. You know? If he does not use tribalism, he's going to say we are agents of the whites, of colonialists. If he does not say that, he's going to say we are agents of homosexuals, etc., etc. So he brought that bill, targeting, among others, the opposition. Because it's one of the things he wants to use. I mean, when you come to America, it's very easy to say, oh, you're from America, where there are homosexuals. Now you have been dealing with them. And in that law, you can be imprisoned. And you can be imprisoned, and he will stop you from challenging him. So he brought it. And then, boom, the world explodes. Boom, they get serious. I said it one time, Taylor, don't stop filming. Continue filming me because I want the world to hear my words. So, I wondered, I said, wait a minute. Does the international community mean that in Africa only gay rights are human rights? You know, as a matter of fact, if there's selective observation of human rights, the African people will even start to question. They say, what are you pushing? What agenda are you driving? So you mean in Africa, to be considered as a person in human rights, you have to be gay? The people that were massacred in the November massacre, we don't know whether there were some of them among them. So we believe that all human rights are human rights and all humans should be respected. And I repeat my words, the international community must stop the hypocrisy of selective observation of human rights. All human rights are human rights and all humans deserve dignity. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. People power!
Power.
Our power!
People power.
All human rights are?
Human rights.
All human rights are?
Human rights.
What a president. What an afternoon. What an evening. Thank you very much, Mr. President. You have been eloquent enough. Let me invite Dr. Kauma to come and speak to us in these last minutes of what the program will be, but also pass on a vote of thanks for this very, very colorful day. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much. We meet tomorrow. Dr. Kauma, come and give the last remarks of this evening. Thank you very much. Let's keep time tomorrow. Dr. Kauma.
Greetings, everyone. I think I already gave my final remarks, but I want to thank everyone.
Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert Bobi Wine President ali mu ggwanga la America. Obusungu bungi, obusungu bumulinnye abitabukiddemu. NUP Diaspora Convention 2023 wano Washington DC. Kyagulanyi ensonga ze nnyingi zayogeddeko ng'agamba nti bannayuganda buvunaanyizibwa bwaffe okulaba nga tufuna Uganda ennungi, okulaba nga tutegeka ensi yaffe abaana baffe basobole ogyeyagaliramu gye bunajja. Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert Bobi Wine agamba nti omulimu guno tegugenda kukolebwa ye yekka, wabula gulina kukolebwa buli ssekinnoomu. Nze gwe nooli ffenna wamu bwe tunaakwatagana, bwe tunaagattagana amagezi gaffe, obwongo bwaffe, ebikolwa byaffe, tujja kujja gavumenti ya Mwai Museveni tufune Uganda ennungi. Eneesiimisa ggwe nange, abaana bo, abaana bange n'abazzukulu baffe mu Uganda ey'enkya, Uganda ey'omulembe omutebi, Uganda ey'omulembe omwagulanyi, Uganda ey'omulembe omulungi. Mu bigambo bye nno Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert Bobi Wine mwasinzidde n'agamba nti abazungu bannakigwanyizi bakirumira mpiyu bbiri, tebalina ludda, ate bannanfuusi bakuusa. Tebayinza kubanga bakolagana n'omuntu General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni gwe bamanyi obulungi nti okutuula mu ntebe y'eggwanga mu 2021 yabba Bobbi Kalulu. Bannayuganda balonda Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert Bobi Wine President, wabula Mwai Museveni n'akozesa amagye, emmundu, bomu neyeelangirira nga President era neyeelayiza. Abagoberezi b'ebyokulonda abaava mu America ne Europe n'abagaana okugoberera ebyokulonda bya Uganda. Era ekitongole kya America ekya State Department ekikuli omukulu Blinken ne balangirira nti okulonda kwe Uganda tekwabadde free and fair, kwabaddemu ebirumira bingi, n'olwekyo Mwai Museveni yeelangiridde. Era n'aba European Union nabo ne bayisa ekiwandiiko ekinene nga bavumirira obuvuyo obwali mu kulonda kwa Uganda 2021 era ne bagamba nti kwali free and fair. Kati Kyagulanyi kye yeebuuza obunanfuusi bw'abasajja bano lwaki wayitawo ebbanga ate mukulu President wa America Joe Biden n'ayita Mwai Museveni agende mu America bw'ayogereko naye mu lukuŋŋaana lw'Abafirika aba President. Era ne yeekubya ekifaananyi ne Mwai Museveni gw'akimanyi obulungi nti akalulu yabba kabbe, era nti yatta abantu abasoba mu 150 mu nnaku z'omwezi 18 ne 19 Novemba wa 2020. Kyagulanyi yeebuuza nti oyinza otya okuba nga gw'ensi eya demokrasiya, nga gw'osinga demokrasi mu nsi yonna, nga gw'osomesa gw'opulishinga demokrasiya mu nsi yonna, naye ate nga gwe okitiza, gwe weesulubebba, gwe okuukuuta ne bannakyemalira mu Africa. Tuyinza kuba nga gw'otyawo tugamba tubeere ne demokrasi, tugobere amateeka, tufune demokrasi, tukume eddembe ly'obuntu, naye ate abatalikuuma, abatta abantu, abamenyi b'amateeka, abatagoberera demokrasi ate nga b'okyakala nabo. bw'otambula nabo be baganda bo be bannoobo. Kyagulanyi beebuuzo byabuuza bwe bukambwe obuvudde era n'asiima nnyo ekya World Bank ne America okuba nti baasaze ensimbi ezibadde ziwabwa mu Museveni mu gavumenti ye buli mwaka olw'etteeka ly'ebisiyaga eryayisibwa Uganda nga bagamba nti yatyobola eddembe ly'obuntu. Bobi Wine ekimunyiiziza era kyabuuza nti Mwami Museveni azze atta abantu bangi nti 2009 yatta abantu bangi beekayunga bannayuganda bwe beekalakaasa nga Museveni aganye Kabaka ogenda e Kayunga mu ssaza lye. Yatta abantu nkuyanja na nkuyanja naye tewali sanction nemu yateekebwa ku Mwami Museveni, tewali buyambi namu bwamusazibwako. Nti kye bagamba Abamerika bano nti abo abantu Mwami Museveni be yatta mu 2009 nga aganye Kabaka ogenda e Kayunga bo tebalina ddembe lyabwe lya kuba balamu. Eryo si ddembe lya buntu okuba omulamu. Byo tebaabiraba tebaabitegeera nti kati bafaayo nnyo ku bisiyaga okuba omusiyazi ly'eddembe ly'obuntu. Balyoke bajje ku Mwami Museveni ensimbi kubeera ddyo etteeka ly'abasiyazi. Kale abuuza ebibuuzo bingi era nga ayagala afune ansa zaabyo. Nti wano Mwami Museveni mu 2016 yatta abantu b'e Kasese nkuyanja na nkuyanja n'abasiba obundooya n'abakuba amasasi ng'akozesa ereru generaali. Abantu bangi n'abatta ne balopa mu kkooti y'ensi yonna ne bivunvubikwa. America teyavaayo okukola teekawo sanction n'emu bayongera ku Mwami Museveni ensimbi. Kyagulanyi z'agamba nti ensimbi tezikozesebwa Mwami Museveni okukola ebikolobero ebyo byonna byakola ku bannayuganda. Nti abantu bangi bazze bawambibwa babuzibwawo nga bagamba America era ng'ebiraba ku kamera naye nga tefaayo okukola sanction yonna ku Mwami Museveni. Nti yasobeddwa Kyagulanyi nti omuntu okuba omulamu teriba ddembe lya muntu abe mulamu. Nti mbadde ly'eddembe lisooka mu byonna kuba tewali kijja kuba mu nsi nga toli mulamu. Olina kusooka kuba mulamu. Kati oli bwanzijjako eddembe lyange ery'okuba omulamu nanzita bumenyi bw'amateeka okutokuba kutyobola ddembe lyange era oba twasa nawo okuteekawo sanctions ku bantu abattiddwa nga baggiddwako eddembe lyabwe. Nti eddembe ly'obuntu lya kulya bisiyaga lyokka. Agamba nti America ekomye obusosoze bwayo obunnanfuusi ekirumira mpi 2 ng'eyo ewagira eronnomamu mu ddembe ly'obuntu ng'egamba nti abali b'ebisiyaga balina eddembe lyabwe lityoboolwa nti abattibwa tebalina ddembe lyabwe. Nti all human rights are human rights. Eddembe ly'obuntu lyonna ddembe lya buntu. Okuba omulamu ddembe lyange lya buntu njagala okuba omulamu. Okulya ebisiyaga byo ddembe lya busiyazi lya buntu oba busiyazi bwo oba buntu bwo okulya ebisiyaga byo. Obutatulugunyizibwa ddembe lyange obutatulugunyizibwa. So eddembe ly'obuntu lyonna lirina okukuumibwa butiribiri ne batutasosolamu ne tutalonnomamu mu ddembe lya buntu ki tetulina okulwanya ne tutalina kulwanirira. Bigambo bya Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert Bobi Wine nga munyiikaavu nnyo agamba America ekomye okwewunza ekomye okwebuguyaza eddembe ly'obuntu lyonna likumibwe nga ddembe lya buntu. Ekibuuzo kino kibadde kiri controversial nnyo kibadde kizibu bwe kibadde kisanze omuntu nga tera muto gwangege bulungi aba tajja kubisobola kubiddamu. Ne Kyagulanyi akikubye omupiira abazungu n'aleka nga gubateebye mu katimba. Kyemmanyi bawulidde era babitegedde tebajja kuddamu kwemamaaza. Kati era agamba nti etteeka lino ery'ebisiyaga Mwami Museveni teyalireeta lwa bulungi oba yalireeta nga alaba takyalina kyagamba bannayuganda takyalina kyayogera n'asalawo alireeta abeeko kye yeekwasa. Ng'ayagala biteeka mu Kyagulanyi abimusibeko bwe Kyagulanyi yawagira ebisiyaga era yaleeta ssente z'ebisiyaga mu ggwanga Uganda. Amukubye nno omupiira Mwami Museveni alina 0 Kyagulanyi emu. Kale byebyo nno tuli mu diaspora NUP convention 2023 wano mu ggwanga lya America Washington DC. Ebintu binyuma gwali eyo osubwa nye naye kanfube okubikutuusaako manye ddala ki ekigenda mu maaso otambule n'okumanya kuba bituyamba ffenna bannayuganda okutambula obulungi nga tumanye ensonga z'ensi yaffe. Abaana abato abazaalidwa mu America n'abo abatwalibwayo nga bamabujje n'ababuuziza ebibuuzo Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert Bobi Wine nti Uganda eneeba etya nga amaze okulayira nti era ki kye basobola okukola okulaba nga bayambako mu kutunula eggwanga Uganda. Abagambye basooke beeyagale, abagambye bakole nnyo nga baagala nnyo Uganda, baagala olulimi lwabwe, ate bagaze n'abalala eggwanga Uganda era bakole buli kye bakola nga basiiga Uganda erinnya eddungi. Abazadde bajja balabirako nabo baagale Uganda era bamanye bamalirize nga bakoze bye birina okukolebwa okuggyako gavumenti ya Mwami Museveni. Kyagulanyi agamba tuve mu ntalo, tuve mu kulumba abantu, twetaaga abantu. nti omuntu yenna ayagala struggle eno alina kugattako ngatte so si kugitoolako. Nkyamanyi ban diaspora abali naffe abali mu diaspora bangi abeetuuma Kyagulanyi, muffe twagala nnyo Kyagulanyi, tuwagira Kyagulanyi naye nga batume. Babbi bali ake bakuusa baagala kusaanyaawo Kyagulanyi mu magezi nga Mwami Museveni yabasasula. Nti bano omulimu gwabwe gwe baapatana, oyo buli avaayo okuba okumpi ne Kyagulanyi bamukuba. Bamuvuma bamuvoola bamutyoboola nga baagala bonna baggweewo Kyagulanyi asigale bwannamunigina olwo balyoke bamukwate ne bamuvume bamukube ennume y'ekigo nga tewakyali amulwanirira. Agambye tajja kubikkiriza abo bonna bakola ebyo abalaba era abategeera yasaba ne bannayuganda babalabe nti abantu bangi bayimba Kyagulanyi naye ate nga Kyagulanyi gwe bayimba ate bali mu kkuba bamwetolodde be yalonda. Be bakuba Mathias Mpuuga mbwaveewo Kyagulanyi asigale yekka basobole okumukuba bulungi. Be bakuba Lubongoya, be bakuba Babi, be bakuba abaana ba Kyagulanyi, be bakuba buli ali mu NUP nga si Muganda. Agambe ebyo tebirina kye bigenda kuyamba. Eno Uganda yaffe nasi Abaganda bokka. N'ekyo temujja kungobako bantu bendi nabo kuba mumina ebigendererwa byammwe mutega obutego bwammwe nsigale bw'omu mulyoke nange munteeke mu tageti. Abagambye temujja kundaba kuba nze mbalengera. Abantu bangi gye bali ba blogger bali ku internet okwo ku Facebook, TikTok nga beeyita ba Kyagulanyi nnyo bawaana nnyo Kyagulanyi naye ng'ebikolwa byabwe bisaanyaawo Kyagulanyi. Agambye situna kwegobako bantu. Temukaka bantu kuyingira struggle. Oli bwe batakkirizanga mmwe nga byakola si bya struggle mumuleke mumubuulire bubuulizi njiri ya struggle. Temumuvuma alien skin. Temumukuba alien skin. Temumuza mabega alien skin. Muleke okukaka abantu alien skin. Muleke okukaka abantu bayingiza struggle. Abantu mubabuulire mazima struggle kye bayamba. Bwe banakkiriza amazima ago banaagategeera bajja kwereeta bokka mu struggle. Era bwe banaamala okukituukako eyo ekyokya bajja kwereeta bokka mu struggle nga tutegere na kutegeera. So temukaka abantu kuyingira struggle. Buli omu muleke alowooze nga bw'alowooza bula mumubuulire ebituufu ebiyamba. Lwaki struggle yeetaagisa lwaki alina ogiyingira. So temuvuma abantu kuba kyaya struggle bye mwadde mukola alien skin. Tulina kugattako bugaso si kwawulanganako. Kyabo bonna bakola ebyo okwawula ku NUP be balabe ba NUP. Mubeetegereze, mubeegendereze, agambye mubalabe mubakanula amaaso moji nga mubeetegereze era nga mubalengera. Agambye watch them do. Abaakogedde bwatyo watch them. Watch them. Watch them. Lubadde lu Jamaica. Ne mukitegedde. Kale byebyo ebigambo bya Kyagulanyi Center mu Robert Bobi Wine wa Washington DC mu lukuŋŋaana lwa National Unity Platform olwa NUP Diaspora Conference lunyumye lukyanyuma kuba lukyagenda mu maaso ebigambo bikyali bingi tugenda kubyeta tubituusaako so okutambula n'okumanya omanye ekyo ekiri mu America. Omukulembeze taliwe Uganda ali mu America DC Washington NUP Diaspora Convention lwe lukuŋŋaana lwe tulimu. Nze neeyamye okuba nti njja bikutuusaako naawe otambule n'okumanya gwe munnayuganda ataliyo atasobodde kubitegeera osobola okutambula ng'obitegeera. Mukama Katonda nno nsaba bankuumire oyo Guludene Namugereka Kabamba Ggulu. Mbasange banywanyi bange bonna bankomyewo neera ate tuwaye. Mangi nkyagaleeta amawulire gye gali okuva wano Washington DC mu America gwe maaso ku lutimbe byonna ngenda kuba mbikutuusaako mweraba.